चाहे अग्नि बन जाए ज्वाला, करे कोप चाहे धरती अंबर, करेंगे जन जन की रक्षा हम, चाहे चलना हो अंगारों पर। हम रक्षक है जीवन के, सेवा है धर्म हमारा, अग्निशमन कर्तव्य हमें है प्राणों से प्यारा। चाहे अग्नि बन जाए ज्वाला, करे कोप चाहे धरती अंबर, करेंगे जन जन की रक्षा हम, चाहे चलना हो अंगारों पर। जाति धर्म के भेदभाव हमें अलग नहीं कर पाते, हम चुस्ती फुर्ती तत्परता के पंख लगा उड़ जाते।
जाति धर्म के भेदभाव हमें अलग नहीं कर पाते।
ऊंची ऊंची मीनारों पर साहस से आग बुझाते, तन मन धन के साथ साथ जन जन की जान बचाते। चाहे अग्नि बन जाए ज्वाला, करे कोप चाहे धरती अंबर, करेंगे जन जन की रक्षा हम, चाहे चलना हो अंगारों पर।
हम रक्षक हैं जीवन के, सेवा है धर्म हमारा, अग्निशमन कर्तव्य हमें है प्राणों से प्यारा।
के सेवक हैं, खड़े हैं सीना तान, जाएं कहीं भी चाहे हम, पहले तो है इंसान।
हम मानवता के सेवक हैं, खड़े हैं सीना तान,
अनुशासन से भरे हुए संगठन पे है अभिमान, फर्ज की पुकार पर करते प्राणों का दान। चाहे अग्नि बन जाए ज्वाला, करे कोप चाहे धरती अंबर, करेंगे जन जन की रक्षा हम, चाहे चलना हो अंगारों पर। हम रक्षक हैं जीवन के, सेवा है धर्म हमारा, अग्निशमन कर्तव्य हमें है प्राणों से प्यारा।
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to the participants and the panelists. Lovely to have you on this Sunday. So what you saw video is about our angels, the fire fighting angels who saves our life and the way they go through the training to save lives. So today's subject is being fire safe citizen. Very important topic to all the participants who are attending. I know how serious you are. That's the reason that you joined on Sunday. Firefighting is not just a subject of fire department or fire professionals. It is the subject for every citizen. For that reason, we chose this subject, being fire safe citizen. So normally when a fire accident occurs, we should be the first responder. The occupant should be the first responder, not to wait till the fire department to arrive. But how do we prepare ourselves to fight the smallest of fire? So for that reason, we are here. So let's move from Chalta hai attitude to being responsible citizen. The Chalta hai attitude is what is today's in everybody's mind. You know, we pray for thousands God. Okay, God will take care of us, and okay, fire NOC is required just because want to occupy. So that Chelta attitude, if it change, I'm sure our nation can be a fire safe India. So we would like to begin with our corporate video of FSIF to understand what is FSIF is all about. So I would request Lakshmi to play our corporate video.
Time is ticking. Have you ever thought how safe your home or building is? Have you seen a fire extinguisher being used? Have you ever attended a fire drill? Do you even know if your building has a valid no objection certificate? Are you aware of the local fire laws? And did you know that every year around 25,000 people die in India due to fire incidents? It means that on an average around 60 people die every day in fire accidents. Did you know that every fifth fire death in the world occurs in India? Do you know that in India there are around 680 fire emergency calls every day? Do you know that most of the fire accidents are caused due to ignorance? It is not surprising you didn't, because we tend to think that fire incidents take place far from where we are till one day, without any warning, we just could be in the midst of grave danger. It is for this reason that we need to sensitize and create awareness, which can be achieved only through education and social activism. And the time for that is now. Need we say that your participation is of paramount importance? Well, we guess not. So what can we do to make ourselves and our country safe? Welcome to the Fire Safe India Foundation, an organization that has been founded and is being nurtured by some of the best minds from the fire industry. These brilliant visionaries have taken up the Herculean task of making not just you and your family safe, but in the process transform our country to be a fire-safe nation. The Fire Safe India Foundation is a not-for-profit body built on the pillars of wisdom, compassion, and empathy, driven by passion for creating a safe nation that we all so lovingly call Bharat. Our vision is to draw strength from our learnings, develop programs to cater to the masses, imbibe in them a sense of awareness, commit them to learn, share, and care for their fellow citizens through the channels of brotherhood that we create to transform our country into a fire-safe nation. And our mission, ladies and gentlemen, is to safeguard and improve the quality of life of our citizens through fire prevention and protection. Sensitize authorities and our fellow citizens about the risks of fire by adopting various channels of communication and social media. Advocate compliance of fire safety and strictly adopt building codes for fire-safe occupancy of public and private premises through social activism. Create mass awareness through education. Award and reward acts of courage and rescue by firefighters and general public during fire incidents. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Fire Safe India Foundation, a first-of-its-kind organization created for the citizens to empower all to be fire-safe. A better future can be created if all of us join together to make a change. Inviting you to become a member and be a part of this organization. It is our pleasure to introduce to you our chairman and the advisory board of some of the best names in the country. These names in themselves are a stamp of recognition and prelude to the success the Fire Safe India Foundation will receive. Our chairman is Mr. M.V. Deshmukh, former fire advisor and director of Maharashtra Fire Services and President, National Association of Fire Officers. And this, ladies and gentlemen, comprises of the advisory board of the Fire Safe India Foundation. For more information and also to sign up for a Fire Save Bharat, do log on to www.firesafeindia.org. Change begins with you. Change begins with us. In the words of the father of the nation, let's be the change we want to see.
Lakshmi, if you can allow me to share the screen. Yeah, thank you. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're greatly blessed with the presence of our chief guest, Sri Advocate Niranjan Badhan, and our chairman, Mr. Deshmukh, and Mr. Ashish Sharma, Mr. Namasivayam, and Kiran Hatyal, who will be expected to join any moment. I would like to introduce our chairman, with whom you already seen him in the video. Is a fire professional since last 38 years of active fire operations in the industrial belt. He has handled HR, security, and IT departments of MIDC, Government of Maharashtra for 20 years. He has been the fire advisor and director of Maharashtra Fire Services, Government of Maharashtra. His passion is to drive mission Fire Safe India. And our chief guest and the speaker for today. He has 36 years of experience and exemplary track record at the bar. Nevertheless, his humility continues to be the signature of his grand personality. He is respected for his knowledge and solution-based approach by respecting the bounds of ethics. A lawyer by practice, but an entrepreneur at heart makes him the first choice when legal troubleshooting is the need of the hour. He has represented various charitable institutions, HNIS, and some of the biggest business houses in India. His tendency to simplify the issues and impeccable work ethics have earned him the reputation of a sought-after trial lawyer. As a person staying in Mumbai, a lawyer who has represented BMC in various matters, and as a lawyer who comprehensively understands various schemes of development being implemented in Mumbai. He is uniquely poised to help the demystifying today's theme. That's for you, our chief guest, Sri Niranjan Badhan. And we also have very tall leaders and tall experienced firefighters of this country. Ashish Sharma is a fire safety and disaster management expert, an MBA graduate in disaster management from IP University, New Delhi, and passed exams of Institute of Fire Engineers in UK and MI Fire. He was the first director of Delhi Fire Service and DIG Fire CASF, which is the Ministry of Home Affairs. As a DIG, he headed the CSF rescue team in Burj during Gujarat earthquake. Presently, he is visiting faculty of institutions such as GSS Indraprastha University, New Delhi, Haryana Institute of Public Administration, Gurugram, Administrative Training Institute, Nainital, National Institute of Forensic Science, Rohini, Delhi, CFEES, Minister of Defense, New Delhi, and Nagpur Fire Service College of Nagpur. Welcome to Ashish Sharma ji. We have another panelist, our very well-known firefighter in southern India, Mr. Namasivayam Muthu, former district fire officer of Tamil Nadu Fire Services. He is retired as a district fire officer of Tamil Nadu with over 40 years of expertise in the field of fire and safety. He is currently the managing director of Rana Fire Diligence Private Limited in Chennai, where he primarily focuses on fire and life safety audit, fire risk assessment, fire consultancy, and emergency planning and assessment. He also works as a guest faculty member for Anna Institute of Management, TNEB, PWD Training Institute, Police Academy of Chennai, National Fire Service College, Nagpur, as well as other social and educational institutions. He also served as a trainer for fire safety, disaster management, and emergency evacuation, as well as trainer of trainers for hot work permit. So I'll move on to Sri Kiran Atyal. Since he's not yet joined, anyway, I'll just hope so. He'll be joining any moment. He is the associated with fire services for the last 28 years.
Dominic,
Yes,
he joined.
He's joining? Wonderful.
He already joined long back.
Oh, I don't see him. Okay. Began his career as a firefighter handling industrial fire with MIDC Fire Services, and after working for 16 years in regular fire services, joined as senior instructor at Maharashtra Fire Service Academy. Being passionate to teach, he has trained more than 3,000 firefighters and officers, all youth desiring to make careers in fire service. Art graduate and have completed his officer level courses from NFSC Nagpur with distinction. Presently given the responsibility as assistant director, is giving his valuable inputs towards strengthen the fire service across Maharashtra, helping in implementation of fire acts and rules, creating fire awareness among public, continuing training the new firefighters and officers. These are our distinguished panelists for the day. I now welcome the chairman of FSIF to address the gathering, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, all the panelists, distinguished speakers, and especially the participants. I don't see a good turnout as far as the participants are concerned, but whatever the turnout, it doesn't matter how many people are there, but those people are there, they can be the ambassador in the society for saving the life of their family members and their kin and kids and the neighborhood at large. So welcome to all of them. We really appreciate that they are sacrificing their Sunday to save the life of the people and create the awareness in the societies. With the permission of the chair for the day, I would prefer to speak a mixed language called as Hindustani, little Hindi and English, because common people, वो सोसाइटी के जो लोग हैं, आम जनता है, उसमें से कुछ लोग हैं, वो भी इसमें पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं. थोड़ा मैं उसको हल्का करना चाहता हूँ. Please take this as not a very formal program. Let us treat this as a very informal, casual kind of a discussion. हमने 45 मिनट दिए हैं इसके लिए कि आपके दिल में जो भी कुछ क्वेश्चंस है, जो भी क्वेरीज है, वो आज हमारे पैनलिस्ट को आप पूछ सकते हैं. हम जितना हो सके उतना आपका जो समाधान करने की कोशिश करेंगे. अभी second thing is here that whenever there are fires in the high-rise buildings or even low-rise building, high-rise building is a myth. Better than me, I think Mr. R.C. Sharma will say. Even the last week I got a report from Mumbai itself that there are many fires in the low-rise buildings, even buildings of 4-storied, 3-storied, and people are dying, and people are, those fires are becoming more serious. High-rise is one challenge which is visually seen in the society, but even low-rise is also not an exception. So whenever there is a fire, the media keeps on hovering around us, and the very prominent question which I usually face, साहब ये जिम्मेदारी किसकी है? Who is responsible? Is the fire department responsible? Or the society responsible? Or the occupant responsible? Or the government responsible? Who is responsible? And the answer is very difficult, because if I talk that the fire department is not responsible, society at large will consider that I am trying to defend my own fraternity. If I say that the people at large are responsible, the owner of the house or the occupants in the building are responsible, they may feel offended. See, it is a joint responsibility basically of three people, three agencies involved here. One is the occupant himself. Obviously, the regulator, the people, those are responsible for giving approvals. Not only fire department, but the building permissions are there. Electrical department is there. So whatever regulators are there. And third responsibility again lies with the fire department, that when there's a fire or incident, how do we respond? How quickly we can respond? And as you know, the traffic congestion in the most of the cities in India, the response is not so easy. So we thought, let us discuss with the people. Let us understand what are their problems, how we can help them, and we decided to make the beginning for awareness of the normal people, common people, and therefore I have requested my all panelists, my friends and colleagues, that we will not discuss too much technical. तो टेक्निकल में लोग बोर हो जाते हैं. हल्की फुल्की लैंग्वेज में क्या आसान हम कर सकते हैं कि हमारी जान मान का खतरा हम कम कर सकते हैं. हम अपने रिलेटिव्स की भी, अपने जो रिश्तेदार है, फैमिली मेम्बर्स है, उनकी कैसे केयर ले सकते हैं. हम जहाँ रहते हैं वहाँ भी हमारी कुछ जिम्मेदारी होती है. वहाँ जो हम सोसाइटी के कुछ सदस्य हैं या सोसाइटी के जो बाकी के लोग हैं, उनको हम कैसे राहत दिला सकते हैं, मदद कर सकते हैं. तो फ्रॉम दैट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दिस इज़ अ वेरी इनफॉर्मल कैजुअल काइंड ऑफ डिस्कशन. ये वेबिनार नहीं है, कॉन्फ्रेंस नहीं है, बहुत बड़ा मीटिंग नहीं है, ये एक चर्चा है. तो चर्चा ऑन फायर सेफ्टी, लोगों के दिल में काफ़ी कुछ क्वेश्चंस रहते हैं जो हम लोग कभी समझ ही नहीं पाते हैं. हम हमारे टेक्निकल नेट में बहुत अटके हुए रहते हैं और लोग समझते हैं कि किसकी जिम्मेदारी है. तो चलिए, आज बहुत अच्छा दिन है. एक नया फाइनेंशियल ईयर की हम शुरुआत कर रहे हैं. हिंदू नया वर्ष तो है ही, बट वी आर अ सेकुलर इंडिया, सो वी कंसिडर दिस इज़ अ न्यू फाइनेंशियल ईयर. ये फाइनेंशियल ईयर में हम कुछ संकल्प करते हैं कि हम हमारी जान को कैसे बचा सकते हैं, स्पेशली फ्रॉम द फायर हज़ार्ड, और हम लोगों के जान को भी बचाने के लिए, राहत देने के लिए, मदद करने के लिए क्या कर सकते हैं. इसी के ऊपर हम आज चर्चा करेंगे. तो मैं ज़्यादा आज आपका टाइम नहीं लूँगा. चीफ गेस्ट ऑफ द डे इज़ अ लीगल प्रोफेशनल. ही हैज़ टेकन लॉट ऑफ पेन्स टू रीड आवर फायर एक्ट, एटलीस्ट ऑफ द महाराष्ट्र एंड द रूल्स देयर अंडर. एंड ही इज़ ऑल्सो ऑफ द ओपिनियन दी एनफोर्समेंट से या कानून से हम लोगों को नहीं बता सकते, समझा बुझा के ही बोलना पड़ता है. बिकॉज द सेफ्टी इज़ द कल्चर. सेफ्टी जस्ट कैनॉट बी एनफोर्स बाय लॉ. इट इज़ अ कल्चर. संस्कृति है हमारी. उस संस्कृति में हम ये कैसे ला सकते हैं, हमारे बच्चों को हम अभी से कैसे समझा सकते हैं, हम स्कूल तक कैसे जा सकते हैं, हम कॉलेजेस में कैसे जा सकते हैं, हम आर्किटेक्ट कॉलेज में, हम लॉ स्टूडेंट्स को भी इस कानून के बारे में या इसमें क्या सुधारना चाहिए, इसमें क्या क्या कर सकते हैं, ये सारी जो चीज़ें हैं जो हम डिस्कस करेंगे. आपके सुझाव इसमें जो आएंगे वो हमारे लिए बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट है. गुजरात से मेरे मित्र हैं जो अभी चीफ फायर ऑफिसर कर रिटायर, तो उनका मुझे सुबह सुबह मैसेज आया, सर looking at the Gujarat state participation, please try to be in the not only in English but also in Hindi. So I said most welcome, कोई problem नहीं है. We are Hindustani and we are proud of Hindi language. And Hindi, because you know the regional languages, some people may know their regional language, others may not know. So it's one common platform. So with this, I request our chief guest, or Dominic, anybody else is going to speak, or you will take over?
No, sir. You well spoke. You said safety is a culture. Safety is a way of life. Very well said. And this is not a webinar. This is not a technical session. It's a open platform for all the like-minded people who wants to do something to the society, something to India. So this is the opportunity. And some people are asking, can we talk? Yes. After once all the panelists speaking, so please raise your hand. I will allow you to speak and put a question, or probably you can do some suggestions. I now request our chief guest, Advocate Niranjan Benang, to share his view on being fire safe citizen. Over to you, sir.
Good morning to everyone. Dominic, I am audible?
Yes, sir.
Very well. Now, Mr. Chairman and the panelists are all very well known people in the field with which we are dealing. And let me say very candidly that probably without any payment, I would be definitely speaking which is most relevant in life, that is being responsible to save ourselves from fire, as well as to see that so far as we are concerned, we become more and more responsible to the situations which can arise, which we can anticipate well in advance, and we can also consider as to how we can make ourselves suitable to the situations which arise when there are fire. Now, as I understand that there are two aspects in fire or fire safety. One is to see that the fire doesn't take place at all. And the other is, in the event of such unfortunate situation that the fire has taken place, how to deal with the fire. Now, of course, both things being connected, it would be necessary to firstly understand as to what can be the responsibility. Now, if I had to put it very shortly, I normally give an example that responsibility is similar to what we do while we drive a vehicle and we follow the traffic rules. Now, the rules are, of course, meant for us. We are supposed to follow it. But the question, of course, would be, is it every time necessary to have the rules? As our chairman has already said, that there are laws we need to look into as to how laws could be improved. But the laws are made to discipline a person. Is it that we need to be disciplined only by law? According to me, that we can be disciplined by ourselves first, and then maybe that the law would come into picture. So therefore, it is not that as if that we need a law for a purpose of our living or our responsibilities. Now, responsibility is one of the most common sense, what one must possess, and we all possess. Question, of course, arises that do we actually implement and see to it that our responsibilities are appropriately discharged. Now, to tell you a few things, if I had to say a little bit jokingly, I'm literally sitting on everybody's head in my building because I'm on 40th and the last floor of this tower. Now, to share with you, while I was looking for a flat and saw this flat, I was very, very happy. I had seen that there is a breathtaking views from my flat. But after a point of time, I did realize that will I have a breath in the event of there being fire? And let me tell you candidly again, I just don't have doubts, but I'm almost sure that with my parents who are almost around 90 years of age, if I had to look into them and consider as to how do I save them in the event of fire at my home, probably I'll be just wondering, and there could be only a miracle which can save me. Now, all these aspects I didn't realize when I looked for this nice flat, because I was only looking at the views and I didn't have my own views at the time when I purchased the flat. Now, 40th floor is not just that what we count. There are various other aspects that the flat as what it is and where we live, do we have sufficient means to see that in the event of fire, we can definitely deal with it with a complete patience, common sense, and see to it that it doesn't spread anywhere else. Now, to again consider these aspects, firstly, what is required to be seen is that how do I make my home safe, firstly for me and my every family member. Now, as it goes, there are three main things which are actually dangerous at home while we are living and which can be prone to the fire in the event of certain situations. First and foremost is, as we normally hear everywhere, that most of the fires are due to short circuit. Now, these short circuits happen if the electric wiring is not properly maintained or it was not correctly done at the time, either when the flats were constructed or subsequently when we renovate the flats. According to me, this could be the first thing that every person should consider and understand and make it sure that to prevent any fire, it would be necessary to see that the short circuits don't happen. And for that purpose, the electric wiring should be appropriately done as is required to keep everything safe from fire. Second, of course, is that while we are cooking at home, now, of course, we have 2-3 different methods or 2-3 different modes by which we can cook food at home, which is more, I mean, as we normally follow is the LPG or different gas which is used. Second is, of course, now the electric gadgets have also come for the cooking medium, as well as the other part of the country also use the other fuel, namely kerosene and other aspects. Now, all these are very hazardous. Now, when they are hazardous, the use of that is not something which can be minimized, but it is most essential. Now, while it is essential, it is also therefore necessary to see that we take all adequate precautions at the time of using this fuel so that there is no fire in and around us, at least at home. Now, if I have to share an incident about it, it's almost around 35 years ago when I was living in an Andheri area. My son was around 2-year-old at that time. There were 2 flats adjoining to our flat. In the adjoining flat, there was an old lady of around 70 years who was staying. Her son was also on the 2nd floor while we were on the ground floor. He used to stay in the flat at some times and would go to her relations on some other days. She used to make her own food, though the son was on the 2nd floor, because he always considered that she should be always not dependent on anyone. A very good lady, a very good personality. She was taking all precautions. But one day, a fire did take place, and I'll share this incident also. It so happened that she had gone to a relation. She was not staying on that day in the flat. It seems, as what was found by the fire brigade persons, that the tube which carries gas from cylinder to the stove was leaking, and it was not noticed at the correct time. Now that she was not staying overnight at home, post midnight, a huge blast took place in the flat. All the 3 main doors of our respective flats, my flat, the lady's flat, and another neighbor's flat, had fallen. The impact was so much that almost around 40 feet away from one side from where the blast had moved out, it broke all panels of the adjoining building's window also. The fire was spreading. Now, I being a NCC cadet during my school days as well as the college days, I did realize the gravity of it, and I'm very proud of it. My son and wife both were in the flat. I had to first move them out. The next thing I did was, though there was a fire, I switched off the main switch of electricity so that the electric current doesn't continue in any of the flats. In another neighboring flat, again, there was a 2-year-old baby and a family where there was an 80-year-old person. I have moved them out immediately. In the meantime, since all responsible persons around our building had gathered, we formed a chain. We obtained the water from all adjoining flats as well as from the building and dealt with the fire effectively. Of course, it took just 10 minutes for the fire engine to reach. But I could understand, or rather I had seen, that if we had not dealt with the fire at an appropriate time, it would have definitely been a disaster in the entire building. All that was eventually damaged, or that what was prevented because of the measures which were immediately taken, where there was no casualty. Similarly, it also that there was nothing which was damaged except the flat and our main doors, and of course the panels, window panels of the adjoining building. Now, this is something, therefore, is not something which is very, very complicated to deal with it. It's very simple. Now, however, we have to also understand how did this fire take place. Now, it took place as was told, and therefore even I understood at that point of time, because the gas started leaking. In course of time, it had reached to the relay level of the refrigerator, and that cutoff, which releases a current at the time when the compressor is shut and is again put on. Because of that very small spark, the gas which was leaked caught fire and there was a huge blast. Now, of course, therefore, what I could learn from that is that it is absolutely essential that we must check these tubes not just periodically, but instead of just checking it, make it a habit that they are changed almost every year so that such a situation of leakage of gas does not arise. Now, second thing, of course, I also in course of time learned that in view of substantial development in the electrical field also, from those main switch, what we would normally call it, which had a cutout, it has been replaced by the new systems. If we install all of them and see to it that each of the room is properly connected with those particular switches, whereby only upon any short circuit or something, that there is an immediate switching off of electricity at that point of time itself. Now, we do take certain measures, but they are not always sufficient. Now, if I had to consider my own flat on 48th floor today, I don't have an appropriate fire extinguishing system. What I learned after coming in association with our chairman was that it is absolutely essential to have sprinklers, and they are the first aid which can come to your rescue at the time when the fire takes place in any of the premises. Now, we don't like such sprinklers at home. While all such sprinklers are found in most of the commercial premises, where people are there for 12 hours or 13 hours, but where we are there for 24 hours, we don't have the first aid system of fire sprinklers which can take care of fire at the first instance. Now, this is something, whether it is required to be insisted by law, may be a matter of debate. But the question is that if I need to keep the premises safe, can I make such a provision so as to see that the sprinklers, if I install in the premises, they can take care of a situation when there is a fire at home. Similarly, do we really keep any fire extinguishers at home? While my flat was under renovation, the society made it absolutely necessary and compulsory that so far as fire extinguishers are concerned, they are appropriately placed so as to deal with the situation in an event of fire. But subsequently, for almost a couple of years after I commenced my residence here, I didn't pay any hit to it. It's only when Mr. Deshmukh apprised me as to what situations can arise that then I became responsible and saw to it that these fire extinguishers are not just in workable condition, but in an event a fire takes place and none of us are at home, and there are some helps who are at home, they should be trained, and they are trained to see that a fire can be dealt with. Now, that is so far so good, but there could be a situation, and for which I still don't have answer, and I would be requesting the panelists to give a suggestion for that. That with all this, I'm not in the position to control the fire, and I had to have an evacuation undertaken by me. How do I take my 90-year parents from the staircase out of this building? Not only for them, for me to get down 20 floors from the stairs, I'm not physically fit, because with the age that what I have, it's not so easy for my knees to take that pressure to continue to get down from the stairs of almost 48 floors. Now, these things are something, according to me, are required to be considered when we want to make ourselves responsible to deal with the fire. Now, rules apart, question of course will always remain that am I responsible to myself first? If I am responsible, as what we normally do, that at a traffic signal, I'm supposed to halt my vehicle if the signal is red. We normally think first, oh, it would have been better if I would have been a little faster and I would have crossed the signal. I didn't want that I should wait at the signal. That is impatience. Now, this impatience at times can be also hazardous. Similarly, in case of fire, just be patient. Understand what can be done, how you can deal with the fire at the first instance. If you find that, yes, the fire can be dealt with by you, don't be afraid of dealing with the fire. Otherwise, also in our daily life, we are dealing with different fire. It's not about the fire that what we are talking about, but the fire of people, fire of society, other are people. There's a fire everywhere. We are dealing with it with our common sense. Now, I do find that it is also possible that if we keep a patient, look at the situation, and then consider whether the rescue is required first or dealing with the fire is required first. According to me, therefore, if we had to consider these aspects, they are very essential for us in our daily life to see that we can make ourselves responsible, see to it that our residences as well as commercial places where we work are fire compliant. If they are fire compliant, it is a first defense and therefore there can be a prevention. And in the event of there being fire, if we are sufficiently equipped, probably we will be able to deal with the fire even before the fire engines arrive and start doing their job. Now, according to me, therefore, it is not as if that the government, the association, or the fire brigade or their personnel could be said to be all-time responsible. The responsibility begins with us, and we must not just begin with it, we must possess it as we want to possess our flat, as we want to possess our valuables, as what we want to possess our life. This responsibility is essentially to be possessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Responsibility begin from us. What a wonderful statement, sir. I now give the floor to our chairman to continue the proceeding with the panelists. Over to sir.
I mean, well said, Badang sir. You narrated your own experience, which even we never discussed about, and it is you really deserve an applause for that. Being a common citizen, the way you dealt with the situation is really commendable. And if bit by bit, if the society members can do that, I think we can save a huge loss of life and also property. Of course, life is the paramount importance. We have the senior most person of our fraternity today with us, Mr. R.C. Sharma, who was the first director of the Delhi Fire Service. He has decorated many positions, which Dominic has already introduced to him. So he is one of the key panelists. We also have Mr. Namah Shivai from the southern India. He has also dealt with many fires and the situations, and still his passion, the fire in his belly also continues. So he is our active associate. Kiran Hatyal is a man who churns out people, firefighters, and does a lot of social work through different missionary platforms. And he also has enough good experience, man with full dedication. So I think, Dominic, we should open this platform to the participants, and we should just listen to them, listen their thoughts, ideas, and wherever required, under the able leadership of Mr. R.C. Sharma, we all will be able to sort out their doubts, guide them, and we can continue our discussion. Over to you, Mr. Dominic.
Yes, sir. What we'll do is all the participants who are there, you can raise your hand if you want to participate in the discussion, so that I will add you in the panel. So that, and before you raise your question, please introduce yourself and from which city you belong to. It'll help us to this thing. So after that, if every panelist here given 5 minutes to talk about something that they would definitely like to see, that city in the belong or the region they belong to, how they perceive to make the citizen fire safe. So let me see if anybody raise their hand. Yes, Vilas has raised their hand. I'll ask Vilas to participate here. So
yeah, I am Vilas Wadhane. Can you hear me?
yes,
Yeah.
very clear.
I am from Thane city. We have, I'm staying in a society where we have about 8 buildings, all high-rise, 17, 18 floor building. We have parking in the basement, also on the locked areas. But how do we had an incident 2 years back where one of the car got fire. Around 4 o'clock in the morning, car went into flames. Now, what kind of system we should have? We have a sprinkler system. But this sprinkler, we don't have that detector and the sprinkler system. It is sprinkler system where bulb will get fused and the water will start coming out. Now, such system we are not able to test unless you have to remove the buzz and spray it, because the rust or the mud would come and block those sprays. Now, do you think any heat sensing elements which will raise an alarm should work, or what kind of system we should go for it?
Mr. Vilas Wadhane,
Yes.
I'll tell you, if you have a sprinklers in the basement,
Yeah.
then detectors are really not required, because the moment there is a fire,
Yeah.
the sprinkler is going to get actuated, and generally very less threat to the life in the basement. The detection system, which is for the life safety, which
Okay.
cannot be that required. Number
Okay.
one. Number two, your part of your question is how to test this system.
Yes, sir.
Generally, for the sprinkler system, there is a drainage pipe kept, the wall
Yeah.
kept, so
Yeah.
that the system can be drained out clean, and you have the control wall where the wall can be opened by your maintenance agency,
Okay.
and they can really check. Even in the old buildings, we recommend to go through the UTR test to check the thickness of the pipes.
Okay. Yeah.
Ultrasound test where you can check
Okay.
the thickness of the
Yes.
pipes. And there are agencies, those who do that. And
Okay.
especially in Maharashtra, I mean, that is the Ardha Satya, half truth. That under the law, we have appointed the license agencies, but the informal feedback that what we get, that they don't do the due diligent job. So
Barobar.
we had a meeting with such people, asking them, what are your difficulties? You are paid for and you are statutorily responsible for testing the system and
Yeah.
give your fitness certificate of the system twice in a year.
Okay.
So their difficulty is, sir, the people really, they don't pay.
Yeah.
So what is that they don't pay? They say ki X agency is giving me a certificate, 5,000 rupees a year, 2 certificates. The other agency goes for 4,000. And if
Yeah.
I have to survive, maybe I have to give 3,000 or 2,000. They want only certificate. They don't allow the systems to be touched. They don't allow any detailed inspection is done and the maintenance is carried out.
Okay.
So maybe true, I do not know. We have not talked to the citizens. So when we talk to citizens and the responsible people like you, Mr. Wadhane,
Yes,
we
sir.
will also get the feedback.
Yeah.
And if the car was on fire, I just
Yeah.
wanted to know, which was not mentioned during your narration,
Uh,
whether the sprinkler got actuated or it didn't get actuated.
Actually, it got actuated, but
very
the spray was very low because maybe that nozzle got blocked.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So it got actuated, but it didn't operate properly.
It
So
didn't-
that needs to be, it's a maintenance responsibility.
Oh,
And the maintenance responsibility is of the owner or the occupier or the society whatsoever, which
yeah.
is well prescribed in the law. And for that to help them, because even me or Mr. Ashish Sharma or Mr. Kiran Adyal, whatever we are into profession,
Yes, sir.
I call myself that we are a prescription doctors.
Oh,
We write while giving the approval what is that all required. And once the building is fit for occupation, we go and do the sample testing whether things are functional. But suppose there's a leakage or the pipe is constricted due to corrosion or such problems. I mean, we are not the right people to do that kind of a maintenance.
Agree, sir.
So therefore, we got these agencies. Now there are again misconception in Maharashtra. People talk about these agencies should do the audit, which I fully disagree.
Yeah.
And fire audit is a word which is so far so good not written in the entire Fire Act. I mean, from where it has emerged and how it has become so popular. So that is another, the matter of research. But these agencies should do due diligence job, and we are not leaving everything to the agencies.
Okay.
There is a clear provision in the law that fire officers or the fire regulators' powers are kept intact. Even 1st January, my systems are inspected and certification is given by the agency. Then also on 2nd January or 3rd January, the fire officer can carry out the inspection. He can see what are the flaws. And instead of making you a party, because if you are paid well and proper, well in the sense reasonable payment is made, then they have power to cancel his license. They have power to prosecute these agencies. So we are trying to sensitize the regulators also that they should also do their job.
Right.
So hope I have satisfied your query, or if anything you would like to discuss, you please feel
Well,
free.
can I come in?
Yes, Sharma sir, please come.
Okay. Well, just to support whatever Mr. Deshmukh has mentioned. See, the thing is, as I rightly said, that we give a prescription, but in the normal course of time, when we came across these things, that okay, Mr. Now Vilas has mentioned that some incident when the sprinkler got blocked, it didn't get enough water. Well, now the problem again, something happens, then we should look into the problems. And what I also come across during my post retirement things, when people came to me for some solutions and some problems. So the thing is, which I perceive is that normally when we install the system, the idea is normally to have NOC, and that is a common goal, that just to see that water is into the system, they are checked, tested, whatever is there, they function automatically. And normally they are seen at random places, 1, 2 or 3 places, and then they are found okay. But one thing which is very correctly now since we are discussing this problem, हमको देखकर लगता है कि इसमें कुछ ना कुछ सोचना पड़ेगा, करना पड़ेगा. देखिए लाइन में जब आप कमिश्निंग करते हैं, उसमें वेल्डिंग होता है, उसमें कुछ ना कुछ बीच में बल्स हो जाते हैं, मेटल के पीसेस हैं, या आपका पानी का टैंक, जब फर्स्ट टाइम आप कोई बिल्डिंग बनाया, उसका पानी का टैंक भी बनाया आपने, उसमें पानी जो आता है, मे बी द ट्यूबवेल वाटर और व्हाटएवर वाटर, इट मे बी having some dirt or some maybe sand or something. So if that goes into the lines, then it will choke it. And every bulb, every sprinkler bulb is at the lower part of the pipeline. So it goes and settles into that. So it is very possible, very much possible that it can happen. Now thing is, while we are commissioning all these things, one is that we should flush all the lines before putting it into operation. So that flushing is very much required. How many people are really getting it done? And one thing more, which by just sheer experience we have come across this, is that every maybe end of the branch or whatever number of sprinklers, maybe that you're having 100, 200 or 500 sprinklers, at the farthest end where the last point is there, probably we can have a system connected there so that we can drain out the system maybe after 6 months or after 1 year, so that every line is flushed practically. So that is the only solution. We can't find there is no, big thing that you carry out, but I think that's the best thing to be done. So have a provision built into this. Now it is not designed as of now into the system as per our IS specification, but now we'll have to bring it to the system that, okay, because this is a perennial problem, we are coming in because the blockage is happening. So then have at end of the branch something so that you can flush out the line. So chances of that blockage are reduced. That is one.
Sir, can I say something on this?
Yes, please.
See, I retired from NOSIL. What we had the bulbs on a line which was pressurized. So in case of fire, this bulb will fuse and the line pressure would drop. And we had sprays on other header, which was, the diaphragm valve will open at the hydrant pump discharge and water will start coming through.
No, that's NOSIL you're talking about. It's a deluge system. That is where you need lot many sprinklers to come in operation because of one operation of a heat detector or something. But here it is a sprinkler. Sprinkler means wherever the fire has taken place, only that place. About that bulb will burst and the water will come only from that bulb. It is not spraying in all the sprinklers. So that is a deluge system. That's a different thing you are seen there in NOSIL. That's a on a maybe you got a transformer or maybe you got a cooling arrangement on a tank or something.
Right, sir. Right.
Those things are there. So we should not confuse that with this.
Okay.
This is independent. If there is a fire below one sprinkler, it will come in operation. If the fire is increasing and heat is spreading to the other sprinkler heads, they also may come in operation.
Yes.
But this is such a nice system, I tell you. The
Yes,
experience shows that if sprinkler is provided in a building and it comes in operation, the fire will not go out of the room. Well, basement is a different issue because you've got a larger area there.
Larger area.
But if we had earlier this Niranjan sir talking about that, well, that is something, if this thing is provided, I think the fire will not go out of the room or the flat. So this is such a nice system. And even if it is, we independent of the pumping arrangement and all that, even it is made to work from the gravity terrace tank, I think that will take care of that. So this is something, when we talk about a system, this is an excellent system and it is known as property saver. I mean, if we have got only the heat alarm or some alarm, well, it will give us an alarm, but then we have to activate, we have to react, we have to go there to take care of this thing. But sprinkler will take care of alarm as well as firefighting. So to that
we have,
extent,
excuse me, sir, we have a couple of more people who are asking
please.
question. I think we can shorten our answer so that others will get a chance to speak. I will go to Gurmeet, who's been waiting to participate. Gurmeet, over to you.
Subhaprabhat or Namaste sub everyone. Thank you. Just wanted to ask one thing. First of all, Advocate Niranjan Bhadang has told me a very right thing about discipline. Discipline is important. You don't require a policeman to guide you on the streets or on the society or on the roads. Little thing about Mr. Deshmukh just said कि 5,000 में 4,000 में देते हैं हम लोग सर्टिफिकेट दे रहे बी फॉर्म. I think किरण अत्याल has already clearly कि जो मेंटेन करते सिस्टम वही बी फॉर्म देते हैं, राइट किरण साहब? तो ये 5,000 4,000 में लोग आज भी अगर दे रहे हैं तो इट इज रॉन्ग. दैट इज फर्स्ट थिंग. ये कौन दे रहा है, क्यों दे रहा है? बिकॉज एटलीस्ट पीपल लाइक मी डोंट गिव. दैट इज फर्स्ट थिंग. सेकेंडली किरण जी, मुझे पूछना है कि मैं एक 7 माले की बिल्डिंग में रहता हूँ अभी, किरण जी, एंड दिस पीपल, हमारी खुद की बिल्डिंग में मैं इंप्लीमेंट नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ एक्सटिंग्विशर रखूं. वो बोलते लिखा कहाँ है? अभी 15 साल पुरानी बिल्डिंग में कहाँ लिखा है किसको पता नहीं है. सो कैन वी कम विद समथिंग, मिस्टर किरण अत्याल? आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू burden you or this association with कि कहाँ लिखा है या कहाँ लिखा है, बट दिस इज एक्चुअली फूलिश. मैं खुद फायर सिस्टम इंडस्ट्री से हूँ और मैं खुद अपनी बिल्डिंग में खाली अपने घर में एक्सटिंग्विशर रखता हूँ, लेकिन बाहर नीचे मेरा चलता नहीं है. दो आई एम अ कमिटी मेंबर ऑन माय बिल्डिंग. दिस इज वेरी फूलिश बिकॉज आई नो एवरीवन इज स्माइलिंग एंड लाफिंग, लेकिन मैं करूँ क्या? बिकॉज पीपल फील कि 25,000 रुपए बहुत महंगा है साल का. सो कैन यू गाइड मिस्टर किरण अत्याल कि इसको अभी कैसे सॉल्व किया? बिकॉज हर एक चीज में रूल रेगुलेशन करना पड़ेगा. जस्ट एडवोकेट निरंजन साहब ने बोला है कि सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन खुद होना चाहिए. अभी किसी को बोलने की जरूरत है कि आग में हाथ नहीं डालो बच्चे की तरह. तो व्हाट इज द वे आउट, किरण जी?
गुरमीत जी, आपने एकदम बिल्कुल सही कहा है. और देशमुख साहब ने अपने ओपनिंग स्पीच में भी कहा थी, स्टैटिस्टिक अगर आप देखा जाए तो जो फायर है या तो डेथ वगैरह है वो लो राइज बिल्डिंग में है. बट नाउ इफ यू रिसेंटली सी द जो यूडीसीपीआर नया जो आया हुआ है महाराष्ट्र में, वो कहता है कि 24 मीटर के नीचे बिल्डिंग को एनओसी की जरूरत नहीं है. और मुंबई जैसे शहर में तो 32 मीटर्स की अगर बिल्डिंग है उसको एनओसी की जरूरत नहीं है. मतलब यहाँ पर एक जगह ऐसा होगा कि हम बात कर रहे हैं अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करने की, रोड सेफ्टी हम सिखा रहे हैं और दूसरी साइड कह रहे हैं कि हम जो मोटर बाइक वाले उन्होंने हेलमेट नहीं पहना तो भी चल जाएगा. तो ऐसा होना नहीं चाहिए बिकॉज फायर एक्ट इज ऑलरेडी देयर एंड एज पर दी फायर एक्ट, चले आपको एनओसी की जरूरत हो या नहीं हो, उसमें एनबीसी का जो आज के तारीख में टेबल 7 करके जो पहला टेबल 23 था एनबीसी पार्ट 4 का, उसमें क्लियर कट लिखा हुआ है कि आपको एक्सटिंग्विशर्स जो रेजिडेंशियल बिल्डिंग्स है उसके लिए आपको एक्सटिंग्विशर्स देना जरूरी है. सो वेदर यू वांट एनओसी वेदर यू डोंट वांट एनओसी, ये आपको कोई जरूरत नहीं है कि किसी को समझाने के लिए कि बाबा है जब आप मोटर बाइक चला रहे हो तो आगे वाले ने हेलमेट पहनना है, पीछे वाले ने हेलमेट नहीं पहनना है. और खास करके सब जगह पे आप ऐसे देखा पाओगे. बट आई थिंक दिस इज द राइट थिंग व्हाट फायर सेफ इंडिया फाउंडेशन हैज डन to create awareness among the people कि what exactly we have to do, what is given in the law, what is not.
माणसं ऐकत नाही, त्यांना कंप्लायन्स पाहिजे सर.
ठीक है, हळूहळू लाना पड़ेगा. अभी हंटर लेके तो सब जगह चल नहीं सकते हम.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू, थैंक यू.
May I request Pratik Pide to raise your hand? Come over and speak.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Deshmukh sir, Hatal sir. Actually, I'm from Dubai. I'm staying here and I'm working in fire industry. But like whenever I go to India and go on vacation, I have seen that there are so many cases where the fire system is not that much compliant, even for high-rise building. Because like as you said, there are some companies which are not doing their duties properly, or they are just to get an NOC, they are trying to install some system. So is it like there are being some more regulations or strictness has been done so as to make sure that the system is working properly? और लाइक यहाँ पे कैसा है, हर साल एक हाउस ऑफ एक्सपर्टीज रहती है जो कि एक थर्ड पार्टी कंपनीज रहती है जो आके हर एक साल के बाद सिस्टम दोबारा चेक करती है ताकि वो लोग देखें कि AMC 3 से किया हुआ है या नहीं है, या ओनर जो है वो AMC वालों को पे करके सिस्टम मेंटेन कर रहा है या नहीं है. तो ऐसा कुछ सिस्टम हम यहाँ पे रेगुलेशन कुछ लाने की like whether they have any such agenda to put in the upcoming laws of fire.
Pratik, we got your question.
Yes, sir.
We know the system that is being implemented by the Dubai Civil Defense.
Yes,
They
sir.
don't call it a fire department, they call it a civil defense. That's fine. But the Dubai Fire Department basically. And initially when we were thinking of having this concept of license agency in Maharashtra,
Yes, sir.
there was a hue and cry. There was a lot of resistance from my own fraternity. How can you trust a third party? And many issues like that. Then I gave the example of the Indian Electricity Act, where the third party electrical contractor certificate is a must. Then I cited the example of the chartered accountants who finally review your accounts and file your balance sheet, and many analogous cases. And I had no idea as to what is happening in the other part of the world. And even Kiran was also part of the process, and many other my colleagues were there. So it was a brainchild of all of us, and we have already made, Pratik, the provision in the Maharashtra Act that not only in Dubai there's once in a year, we say twice in a year, the system has to be thoroughly checked, inspected, tested and rectified. Retrofitting should be done by the competent license agencies to whom the license is given as under the charter or under the statute. And there are provisions under the section 36 for penal actions against such agencies also if they do the default. Now, see, the chief guest gave a very nice example of the road safety. I have a rural background. I often visit to my native place, and I see when I talk to young boys, when I just ask them whether you have a license to drive or ride the motorbike. You trust me, more than 90% of them folks in that area, they have the motorcycles, but they ride without the license. So it is a cultural change what we have been discussing since morning. Though we have a very clear fine print provision in the law, and we have the system implemented there, but unfortunately this is a cultural change that people are ignorant about it. People sometimes they do not know about it. And third thing is this license agency also, they are taking the probably undue advantage. I don't blame all the license agencies. There are many good agencies, but the feedback what we get from the fire agents, license agencies itself, some fire officers itself, and also from the society, that if they are not doing the due diligent job, I mean, it will take its own time, to get it effectively implemented. And the only tool or the only way, the approach, which at least we have drawn a consensus, that first enlighten the citizen, empower the citizen, let him be demanding citizen. If you go to petrol pump and you see that 2 petrol is put less into your vehicle, you are aware customer that no, this cannot be done. So similarly, while I buy the flat, what are the things I should see? If I buy the flat, what are the retrofitting and the fitting fixtures that I provide? What do I do? Similarly, what I do about the fire safety also. Once you people, rather we people become demanding empowered citizens, I think these issues will get addressed. But yes, there is a very clear provision in the law. The bare legislation and the rules are available on the website, our website, or also the Maharashtra Fire Services website. So this provision is already there. Thank you. Very good question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I will. You can remain there. I will let others. After 3 more questions have been asked,
just one line, sir.
Yeah.
I am actually very happy that you have started this initiation and you are creating an awareness among these people. लोगों को बहुत ज़रूरत है, sir, and you are doing really very good work, sir.
Pratik, I am sorry to tell you, this provision is prescribed in the law 12 years before.
Yes, sir.
12 years before, and still people are not aware of it. So that is the reason we thought awareness is the only path-breaking exercise that may help us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Pratik. Next question, please.
We have, we have few more our panelists, Namashivayam and Ashish Sharma also. So hope question will be asked to them from southern region. If anybody is there, Mr. Namashivayam will be happy to take the question. So over to Abu Amin Khan. Mr. Abu, are you there? Okay, I'll move on to. Are you there?
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay.
So you let me know your name and your city that you belong to. Please mention from the city that you belong to, and also whom are you asking this question?
Okay. And my name is Abu Amin. I am from Chennai, Tamil Nadu.
Oh, wonderful.
Hello, I am from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. So recently I have seen in the news that there is one gas cylinder is exploded due to they have switched on the gas cylinder.
Abu, your audio is not clear. Your audio is not clear. Can you repeat again? Your voice is breaking.
Stove and place it some cooking food, and therefore the accident has happened. Okay, just a moment, sir. Now it is okay.
சொல்லுங்க திருப்பி சொல்லுங்க.
My question is, recently in the news I have seen that there is an accident happened due to forget about the switch. Stove was on and they kept the food cooking there, and then they forget it, and then the explosion happened recently. So is there any this thing is available in the recently the technological development so that this thing will be get implemented or anything? That is what my question actually. Hello.
Okay. Can I take the question?
Yeah.
So Dominic, see, thing is, when you say the explosion has happened, that means the food was cooking, probably something like milk is there, it boils over, and then flame is out. And if the gas continues to leak, and then subsequently there is something else, you get a spark from somewhere or something, then you can have an explosion. But the flame is already continuing and it's burning, stove is on. Explosion should not happen, even if somebody leaves it open and it will, all the gas will burn off. Normally the things are built that safe. So this is what I'm not really sure. I mean, if the details or questions are there, this can be probably done. Some questions are there in that 2-3. I saw that regarding smoke alarm and what to do and what to do in case of high-rise building. Can I take Dominic? Mr. Dominic?
Yes, sir.
There are some question. I saw that on the this question answer of this thing window.
Yeah. So since Mr. Namashivayam is from Chennai, the question from Chennai.
Sharma ji has answered this question. Unless there is an external heat is there, otherwise the cylinder will not be into burst, but it cannot be busted. Unless it is external heat is supplied somehow, in addition to that burner burning. That is one thing. Second thing, what he has asked, any technological input is there in order to prevent such incidents? See, there is a gas leakage system is there, and there is recently it can be added into that cylinder that in case of leakage that will detect that will automatically close the gas flow. So that also is available. I have seen in many places. That's the point I want to add. That's all.
Okay. Okay, sir.
One more
question on the question box, we'll take it later. So, yes, Mr. Kiran.
Yeah, one more thing that we would like to add, that now gas pipelines are also coming. So slowly we should be diverting from these LPG cylinders to gas pipeline. That will be also more safe.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, let's move on to Prakash Kamath. Can you tell me from which city are you?
Yeah, I am from Mumbai. I stay in a building which is 7th floor. Which there were no fire systems earlier, but I'm very happy to inform that I have been able to convince all the people, and we have put up a full-fledged fire system. And I train personally everybody to use hose reel drums and fire extinguishers once in every year, every year. And this way there is a lot of awareness. My two questions or one suggestion to Hatyal sir is that this B-Form is always, creating some problems, because it should be changed, it should not be one-time auditing and giving the certificate. It should be supported by, they should be able to maintain the system for 6 months and then have the record of the 6 months and submit the B-Form certificate. Then only it will be valid and it will ensure that the systems are in operation. And one more question was, there was a problem of water, unclean water in the sprinklers. We have been providing additional drainer just before the sprinkler IC control valve, and this is with a bit bigger mesh, so that the water will not starve, the sprinkler will not starve of water, and this ensures that clean water enters the system. Is it okay, Hatyal sir?
Hatyal sir, would like to answer?
Yeah, Kamathji, this is, you were talking about Form B, which is actually given for the maintenance of the system, and as per the Maharashtra Fire Act, this is usually given in the month of January and July. Now coming back to your question, this is regarding issuing of Form B. Now when has to be given, or how it has to be given, or what that can be validated. Let us try to understand, we are giving for the maintenance of the systems. And when we talk about any system, whether it is portable extinguishers or detection system, fire pump or sprinkler or hydrant or anything, normally these systems are to be maintained in accordance to the various Indian standards. Let's say, for example, when we are talking about a yard hydrant or a riser, then IS 13039, or we are talking about extinguisher, then IS 2190, or when we are talking about a detection and alarm system as per IS 2189. And every IS, where whatever we talk about the maintenance, something that has to be checked or usually every day, some has to be checked weekly, some has to be checked monthly, some has to be checked quarterly, and some has to be done half yearly. So when you do your system maintenance properly, so when you have to do after quarterly, definitely you have to maintain, when you have maintained, it has to run smoothly for the next quarter, and again next quarter you do, then again in the next quarter, half year is over, then you give us certificate. So there should not be any question as how can the validity, or there is a question on giving the Form B and the maintenance aspect.
Okay, sir. That's what the MC contractors do that. But many times when we find that, one time, in the month of January, say December 31st, there's so many agencies who carry out or deemed to have carried out, and in one day they are able to give about 50 certificates, B-Form certificates. So
what I see, Kamathji, what I see, the people, the license agency do not have the proper documentation. So when you are doing your monthly or a weekly or a quarterly testings, all your testing report, all your performance report, whatever checking you are doing, the documentation needs to be done perfectly. That's what I feel.
Okay, thank you, Hatyalji. We have a few more questions, and then we have in the Q&A we have around 10, and we are running late for this program. It is almost 12:15 now, so let us be crisp. And I request the participant also be very specific on your questions. So over to Vidya. Vidya Gogi, you are there. You may please ask this question and let us know from which city you're calling.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you all panelists. I think just to introduce myself, I'm Vidya from Bangalore Apartment Federation. We have also been creating a lot of awareness amongst our, resident welfare associations or apartment associations on, the various aspects on fire safety, as well as, our own responsibility as well in this. I just want to take in one example where Mr. Kiran mentioned about, the helmet being worn by only the rider and not the pillion. Here in case, I would like to say, apart from the pillion rider who needs, the riders who need to wear helmet, it is also the road should be, should be a smooth road and not on potholed roads. So there is the law, and then there is the discipline and, the compliance to that aspect. So here, I have 3 questions to ask. One is during our awareness sessions and all, the most common aspects that we come across is, the handover, during the handover stages of the building to the association. There is the blueprint of the fire system, that is usually not available. And there is no enough manual or guidance on how to maintain this, which is the reason why, as one of you also mentioned earlier, there could be, some systems not functioning because of some of those issues, and they are left unmaintained because I do not have any guidance as a normal citizen who may not be aware of various aspects of this. The guidance comes very little. And secondly, when it comes, it is more from an inspection and, a non-compliance way of action. And that certainly does not help the citizen or the RWA. So how do we overcome this? Second, if we have to maintain the system, then do we have empaneled AMC vendors or somebody also in an advisory? The department itself, the fire department, perhaps can also play a sort of advisory role to say that, apart from having these empaneled vendors, there could also be some development or news related aspects wherein how you could retrofit, how you could upgrade your systems and things like that. That is the second part. And the third part, I think I have put in the QA section also on the electric vehicles, because that is something new which is started coming up in the last year or so within apartments, where we have the charging points and there are 2 vehicles there. And a few incidents also have been reported on these vehicles catching fire either while charging or while on road. So these are 3 things, if I could, try to understand, so that I think initially the panel members, Mr. Deshmukh also made a comment that there are very few participants, but I think we represent a larger, apartment forum. So I'm sure the message will reach out to a larger audience, though they may not be present here today.
Madam, I am optimistic, that is why I said there could be one member, but he could be the ambassador for many. And you proved that. I'm really grateful to you. See, the 3 questions which you posed, what we will do about the empanelment, I will speak. The first question which you posed, I will request Mr. Namah Shivaya to comment upon, because he has a better idea of the southern terrain than what I believe. So I will request Namah Shivaya to take up this question. And the last, we will jointly discuss with me, R.C. Sharma, Mr. Kiran Adyal, and together we'll discuss as to how do we get away from this inspection Raj to the empowerment of the citizen, and how we can help you. So this is how we'll deal with this question, because 3 questions and a very important person, because madam is representing to the resident welfare associations. So that is, maybe madam, in future we can do some program in association with you, so that we can reach out to outreach to more people.
Sure.
So,
Vidya madam, I want to thank Shankar, who's the Bangalore Apartment Federation, with whom I've been interacting. I'm also from Bangalore, so right. First of all, thank for the association to participate in this program. As Mr. Deshmukh said, we could do dedicated for all your apartment. I believe there are 3,000 apartment registered 3,000. Deshmukh sir, this for all information. They have almost 3,000 apartments. That is 3,000 societies registered.
1100, if I may just correct. Yeah.
1100
But that
societies.
reaches out to 2 lakh households. So that's a
2
reasonable.
lakh households. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So I'll ask request Mr. Namashivai to take the first question.
Yeah. So thank you for the wonderful question, madam. And so the first question you asked is how to know about and how to get those diagrams, documents related to your well-being of your building or home. So the first thing you said that no guidance is not available for having what are the diagrams that we should have like that. But see, the thing is when you want to purchase a home or a house or an apartment, then what are the legal documents? What are the functional documents that we should get and we should adopt, and there must be a list must be formulated first by from the promoter to the purchaser or even the association gets. So in case of, for example, in case of fire, there must be a complete drawing of a sprinkler line drawing, hydrant line drawing, and even a extinguisher deployment drawing also we are seeing nowadays, and fire detection alarm drawing. And apart from that, fire protection system, electrical drawing, you have to get electrical drawing wherever the lines are fixed, where the distribution sources and the main sources. So wherever that safety systems are provided. So all these things should be marked in the drawing so that in case of any problem or in case of any audit, that could be more useful. That's another thing. And in case of electrical and the lift functioning, they say that, see, these are all legal. See, you have to approach this by legal documents, legal license required from the regulating authorities, number one. Then the functional side, and for firefighting purposes and electrical purposes and for plumbing purposes. So where all these lines are there and all drawings you must have. Otherwise, tomorrow, if any problem, it's very difficult to get it repaired. So even if you don't have a drawing of these things, if it is not handed over them, then it can be obtained from an expert. So you can have a specialist, you can pull the specialist and they can study your apartment and site, all these things, they can formulate a drawing. Even you have made a certain drawings in other buildings which we fail to have such drawings. So the drawings are much more important and better before buying a plot or in an apartment. Better list out what are all the documents we must have. That list must be available from the promoters to the purchase side, associate side. So these documents, correct or not, that can be consulted with the required department like fire department, electrical department, and like the mechanical department, and even the MEP drawing also required, and the HVACA and air handling units. There are so many. There is a system of network building function is there. So everything is connected with the fire safety. Nothing is alone. So comprehensively, we have to see the fire safety. So all drawings are much more important. So it's better to list out what are all the drawings required for maintaining and maintaining the well-being and maintaining the function of the building.
So basically saying checklist, what is saying Namashivayam is to prepare a checklist before taking over from the builder. So these checklists are complied, and only when the checklist fulfill with regard to fire and safety. So that is what Mr. Namashivayam was saying.
I would like to add here, it should be a kind of a small user manual or a kind of a small SOP which is made by the system installer, and they should hand it over to the society, how your pump should be operated or how that maintenance has to be done. A small kind. So whenever we take a washing machine or a fridge, we get a small user manual kind of a thing. That should be, I think that's what ma'am is looking for.
Yes, yes, that's right. What we find is, most of these are not so available. It's handover while we ask as associations. Those documents are really not coming forward because many of the buildings may not have been issued their occupancy certificates and so on. So there is a certain gap and in that area, right? There may be a law and there may be a need for compliance, but those documents are not coming forth. And in the absence of that, I think what Mr. Muthu mentioned was you can obtain it. I mean, even if it is not handed over, or there is older buildings where they don't have any documents and there is no way of getting them. There can be some specialists who can inspect and who can, redraw those diagrams. Am I right in my understanding?
Correct.
No, very, very clear. See, Mr. Kiran and Mr. Namashivai also. See, here there is a very valid point. It is a takeaway for us. as we directly, indirectly participate in the framing of the regulation. When the flats are purchased in the societies, when the individual person who goes maybe to the generally to the builder, there are very few societies like in Delhi, they come together, form the society and develop the building. But now there also the scenario is changing. So first we go for buying a flat, and a number of people they buy the flat, and after that the builder, developer, whosoever has to give a conveyance to the society. Now there are laws like, many years if the conveyance is not given, there's a concept called as a dim conveyance and all that. But while giving the conveyance, the handing over of the premises, including the land, there has to be handing over of certain important documents, and those should be in some line and order. So the approach to this is, Kiran, we are doing something, some amendments in Maharashtra we can take away. We have a takeaway for this. Other authorities also may think about it. And we can, Madam, as a Fire Safe India Foundation, as an independent organization, we can represent this issue to the Karnataka Fire Department, and we can request them to look into this, and not only the fire department but the government. Here I am dealing with the Cooperation Commissioner, who is one of the responsibility is the all cooperative housing societies, and all those deputy director, registrar, joint director, they are coming under him. So through him we are trying to deal what are the document list of checklists. Somebody said that the list of the documents and in what format to be handed over to the society while giving the conveyance. It's a very good suggestion. Rather, we have no ready-made answer, but there is a takeaway. Second question, madam, you posed about the empanelment. So, not because of we represented Maharashtra that time. Now the Fire Safe India is a pan-India organization. But some good points from the Maharashtra Act, that is this kind of an empanelment, and that empanelment, if it is statutory, then people have a fear. They do something wrong, they can be prosecuted. But if on an advisory note, even I had issued, when I was a fire advisor, I have issued one advisory order also, operative order for empanelment of the fire auditors. But that has no tooth and nail. So that amendment now again is going in. So empanelment of such license agencies and their duties and responsibilities, and some deficiencies that we created here while framing the law 12 years before, those we are trying to bridge. So with those deficiencies and the thing that what we are trying to do, that we will share with you, and through you we can represent in the local forum, and we will be the devil's advocate for that, because that is our actually mission, that is Mission Fire Safe India. And the last question about the electrical vehicles, I will request Mr. R.C. Sharma to comment upon the electrical charging and the problems. CIFIS, that is the Ministry of Defense organization, is doing some research on the electrical fires also. So I will request Mr. R.C. Sharma to speak about the electrical vehicles as a challenge, please.
Well, this challenge is we see now and then some of the incidents happening just while charging the vehicle, something exploded, and we had in some places where a line of scooters, electrical scooters, they were charging, and probably one of that caught fire, and the series, all of them were involved in fire. It was basically an open space in near one of the group housing society. Well, this is a technical problem which I foresee as of now, because it is happening from internally from the batteries. While charging, we overcharge it, or the charging is done or not controlled, or it is because of some other high voltage, or which is beyond certain, charger is not correct, or batteries are not correct. So many things may be there. We don't see what is the problem, in fact, and this problem needs to be taken care by the manufacturers as of now. Just because of this, some things are happening. What we can do as a person, maybe that we are having a charging unit in our premises, only situation which we see that whatever is happening is that something goes wrong, then it spreads to very fast to all the building, to the car, to everything, and it is in flames immediately. So this is what, firefighting is also very difficult, because batteries inside that, well, what to use, water can be used, how much water to be used, whether the water is reaching the battery, because that is covered inside below the scooter, it's a cover. Same way for the cars also, it is inside the hood or back. So now these are so many things. I mean, trying to do something, will it be feasible? Will it be effective? So these things are, as of now, they are in very primitive stage. But yes, as a precaution, we can think that this should be done not in a place, understanding that if that happens, it may not add problems to our total group housing society. The hot gases, flame, and that should not spread the fire to the nearby cars. So having that charging facility should be done a little away from the other cars which are parked there. They should not be near any other flammable materials which is stored there. So this should be a little isolated in that sense, because we know these vehicles may catch fire because of certain built-in problems or which are not taken care of as of now. It's in a development stage because of the battery problem or any charging problem or whatever it is, it could be. So only thing we can do is see that we take precautions. If something goes wrong, that does not add to our problems and we doesn't block our means of escape in the building. Especially that is how. Don't put a charger below the staircase because you have got space, some space to park one or two scooter and charge it there. But then it's going to create a problem for us because we cannot get out of the building if that is facility is created in the means of escape or in the staircase. So this is the basic precaution I think we can have, and rest of the things, if as soon as we get more information on this, probably that built in some rules and regulation will be there. But this is what we can do as of now.
Let's move forward. Madam Vidya Madam, before move on, I am based out of Bangalore. FSIF can have a separate understanding with your federation, which has 2 lakh apartment, and we can draw guidelines and we can support you and we can guide you further on this. As Mr. Deshmukh said, we can have a dedicated program only for your 2 lakh family use there. So we'll be there, and I am from Bangalore. I can be able to reach you at any time. So we'll move forward. Over to Pradeep Kumar. Can you come on to can unmute and speak, please?
Good. Thanks, Dominic. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're from which city, sir?
This is Pradeep. I'm from Hyderabad, Telangana state. Okay. Good afternoon, all the panelists. I've just posted my comment while we have been discussing on the fire safety in the commercial buildings. It is also imperative for us to talk about the kitchen safety. Of late, we're also witnessing a lot of accidents over there. One could be because of staff negligence. One could be basic of knowledge. And I also seen myself where we have some electrical stoves, electrical burners where we have this cutting point, but I am not getting exact thermostat, but doesn't work. How do we mitigate those issues? One is by the way of training, we understand, but this is happening very often where I've seen in my experience.
Anybody wants to answer to that? He's from Hyderabad. Deshmukh sir.
I will request Mr. Namashivai to take it up.
Yeah. See, this kitchen fire safety is a recent emerging issues in case of malls and other IT buildings, other commercial buildings. And the kitchen is most hazardous, high hazardous area in terms of fire, in terms of fire spread, in terms of gas leakage, and in terms of unpreparedness, in terms of poor training. So in this case, the only thing, the thermostat does not work, and even in case of director activated, the power supply or the fuel supply should be cut off. These are all the systems required in case of fire safety. But when this is not happening, then it denotes that poor installation, unprofessional installation, or unprofessional maintenance, and it's a lack of better understanding about the system by the user. And so these things must be understood in the correct perspective, and proper maintenance. If you do proper maintenance, the technology is very well that can control, that can arrest the fuel, that can stop the fuel or electricity, and that can inform others, and even that can suppress the fire immediately, instantly. So there are so many cases we have seen, and we have installed, and we have maintained, and we have witnessed all those things. So it is a part of better maintenance, better understanding, better preparedness. That's the thing.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, Namashivayam. Let's move to B.A. Satyanarayan.
Yeah, namaste, sir.
Namaste. Which city, sir?
Sir, namaste, Dominic, sir. Satyanarayan, Civil Defense, Bangalore.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. Namaste to all seniors. Sir, my only question is, see, I work in a private firm wherein, as per the government agencies, whether it's a factory license or a fire safety a unit which we have to put everything. We have to get into the mode of licensing, take the license, and once in a year, very diligently, very regularly, they come, they do all the necessary checkings, and they give again for one more year, whatever be the case. So, but after working for about 26 years in my unit here, wherever I'm working, and as a civil defense volunteer, my civil defense association is basically because the customer requirement was there to see to that in our place, whoever is there, he should be trained personnel. So I have done my fire and safety diploma and a degree. So hence, to keep that in mind and without working with it, so I've joined Karnataka Civil Defense Force as a volunteer. So I have been attending many fire calls, sir, over from the last 2012-13 to till date. See, what I am facing a question in my mind after working closely with the government people and the fire agency is, see, once you register yourself as a factory and as something, you are applied for a license, you have a license, every government agency, irrespective of the department, they know you, they come to you. Now, my question for the second part is, as a volunteer, whenever I have volunteered with fire and safety department or with police or with BBMP or with BWSSB for their assistance in acts of disasters like heavy rains, urban flooding, and a lot of trees have fallen during rain, to assisting BESCOM like this, and with fire department. Normally what happens is,
Satyanarayan, can you be brief and ask your question straight?
Yeah, many places, they don't know the place of its existence, that this was there, this unit was there, this was working, and this is there. So my question is, once we have registered as a license, this thing, see, they help us in getting everything fixed at our place to save us. But they don't know about the other places wherein it's more, number of units are, it's more. Why government is lacking in that, and why government doesn't have the sanctioned strength of fire stations to be put in any urban planning? Like in Bangalore, there is a need for about 100 stations as per 2017 Webb's report. Okay, we have about 21. That's right.
Please, we are going off the track. Your questions are different.
No, only two questions.
Wait. They are not directly concerned with the public awareness, which is the agenda for the day. Strengthening of the fire services, deficiency in the fire services can be dealt separately. So any question which is related to the public awareness, if you have, please ask. Otherwise, let us go to Mr. Sanjay.
Hello.
Yeah, Mr.
Hello?
Sanjay, please go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Sanjay Mule. I am from Pune.
Okay.
I am staying in a big township wherein, and it was built up by a very well-known, builder in Pune. When I used to take over the charge of flat, I have seen electrical installation as a curiosity, and one thing wonderful I found it that when I opened the feeder pillar box, I found that there was no fuse. They have put all the copper wires inside the system, and from wherein the power has been given to the building. So I was surprised, and they said, okay, we will change the proper fuse rating and we will see that the things will be put up proper place. One thing more, a question I asked that whether have you done the verification test as per IS 732, which has mentioned all 11 tests are there. But more surprised that hardly one test they did it out of 11. Nothing has been done more on that. Then the question lies that there is no proper verification done at the initial stage. Probably there is no maintenance will be done after a period of over a period of time. There's always risk of electrical fire is there, because if you don't have proper earthing, if you don't have the proper protection system which is tested, then we are at big risk of electric leakage, current, and short circuit, all such stuff. So my question is that I don't know whether is something will help us to understand more how things can be ensured that verification test and maintenance, yearly maintenance can be done properly, so that we can ensure that all the flat owners will be at safe. This is my question.
See, the answer to your question is simple, that this particular subject comes into our ambit after aftermath of fire. but the prevention of the electrical hazards. And if you could see with your open eyes that there are no fuse boxes and only the copper wires are put and the systems are working, and it is a big society and the well-known builder. So these all statements are going contradictory. So you as a members of the society, you will have to sensitize the concerned builder or the society. You have to go together and you have to knock the door of the electrical inspectorate. And you should ask them that this should be got rectified, because we have some people in the society, those have knowledge, because I could see from your talk that you have a knowledge of the subject. And you can see with your own eyes that there is a lapse. If you, unless don't come together and sensitize the issue, and even as a help or you as a part of this forum, if you give us what is your problem in writing, we as a Fire Safe India Foundation, we will also write to the concerned electrical inspectorate authority to look into the matter. But as a fire law or the Fire Act and the fire safety measures, this directly doesn't come under the ambit of the fire authority. It comes under the authority of the electrical inspectorate. So either you give a brief on your case, we will represent to the concerned authority, and you as a big society and the big township and many people, even 25% of the people of your society, you all turn out and make a representation to the concerned authority. Jointly we put effort. I think things can be sensitized and got rectified. Thank you so much. Any other question? Any other?
Sir, I pick up 2-3 questions from that very important one. Why?
That Mr. R.C. Sharma was saying there's some question from Uttarakhand probably on detection system.
Yeah, I will tell you that. So I'll just go with one from Sachin asking why low-rise building does not require to fulfill the NBC rule. Why low-rise building?
This is again a state-specific question. Maharashtra has come with the new development control rules, or what we call as the building bylaws. In that they have mentioned, which Mr. Hatyal also said, that the buildings up to 24 meters do not require the fire NOC. And buildings up to 32 meters in Mumbai do not require the fire NOC. Also, there are deficiencies vis-a-vis the National Building Code, as our today's chief guest mentioned that he stays in a flat on a 48th floor. 48, and 48th floor building, Sharma Sahab, you also would be surprised. This is not a forum to discuss. That building has only one staircase. Now there is another challenge for such a tall buildings. What should be the means of evacuation? And even if there is a staircase, can senior citizens, as he mentioned about his parents and he mentioned about his own constraints, can we have lifts for the rescue of the evacuation purpose? Not rescue, but evacuation purpose. So these are the fundamental things we need to discuss on a different forum. But these are the problems that the 24 meters building do not require fire NOC. Again, they have done a glitch in that. They say the NOC is required only for the fire lift. Now the case comes to me per se. I am not going to see only the lift. No, I am going to see the entire building. And then certain specifications I am going to put there. So we have been doing it. And while doing the bylaws,
fire lift is not used for rescue.
Evacuation.
Evacuation is not required. I mean, it is always they put a board there, don't use in case of fire. Then how the people get down?
Exactly. So this is what is the challenge, and that too single staircase for such a tall building in Mumbai. Second problem here is that they give alternative means of escape as a fire chutes. So these are the lacunas on the regulator's part or the lawmaker's part. So that cannot be discussed on this forum, because we have to drive separate forum and we have to move these matters to the corridor to the government. But what he said, that posed the question that this type of issues can be, this cannot be, this we cannot discuss here now. It is wrong, we admit it, and the conference is on record. What is mentioned in the building bylaws is wrong, that needs to be corrected. But we, as a citizens, you can do little. Rather, if the citizens demand that how can you make such prescriptions, then probably that will help us.
One thing I like to add, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, here, see the 15 meters above NOC is required, below 15 meters NOC is not required. It is all regulating issues, and it is a sort of system they have.
Correct.
But NBC doesn't say 15 meter below need not provided any fire safety measures. They have prescribed
No.
fire safety measures also.
Absolutely.
So as a building owner, as a car owner, as a project owner, they are the owner of the risk also.
Yeah.
So they have to make, that is their ultimate responsibility, is to keep their building safe and to understand what are the requirements, what are the functional requirements, legal requirements, all these things. So the regulating authority have their own limitations, sir. That they see for 100 persons requirement, they have only 10 persons. For 100 vehicles requirements, they have only 22 requirements. So it's all different issues, different subjects.
I agree. So Dominic, next question, please.
Very simple, a very innocent question is saying, what should a person do when there is a fire in high-rise building? What should the senior citizen do? With Mr. Our advocate Niranjan Bharang also said, with having a age-old parents at the age of 40.
I think we have discussed enough on this.
Yeah,
These
are the questions.
Wait, Dominic, wait. There are some chairs and some means for evacuation, of which the big marketing going on. But as Bharang sir said that I am the person, I have constraints, and plus I have a senior citizen. So how that person will get out the impeded person or the challenged person through those chairs? So the hydraulic lifts or the lifts is the only means of evacuation, and that has to be properly done with the fire shaft and those arrangements. So it's too much of a technical deliberation which we can take separately. But it's an innocent question, I appreciate. And
one thing I would like to say here, Mr. Deshmukh.
Yes, sir.
The thing is, it's very much valid that a normal person will try to find out what he should do in case there is a fire in a high-rise building.
Yes.
Now, we have to understand that the normal evacuation, or we have to get out using the normal staircases. That is the only possibility, because that is built into the system and we cannot have anything else. And if we have it at a later stage or maybe delayed stage, that is not useful.
Correct.
So now, but only thing we must know is that the means of escape is available is internal staircases, and they have to be built and they have to be maintained, and they should be always free of smoke. I mean, like a single staircase going to the basement and you fire in a basement, well, you got no chance to escape because smoke is going to come into the staircase and then everybody is held up. Maybe even 10 floor, 20 floor, 48 floor is money he had it. But this is what the fire safety, when we talk about, it has to be built into the system. Okay, you can have 48 floors or 200 floors, whatever we have. Now we have to see that we have to have a means of escape, get into a safe place horizontally, maybe staircases, and we have to design a staircase like we have got now in our maybe firefighting shaft. It is connected to every floor, but it is pressurized or maybe segregated by a fire door. So that once you are into the staircase, then you can take time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour to go there. It's okay. But then at least that staircase should be free from smoke and it should not be affected by the fire on any of the flats or any of the floor. So now this is what, if you are having a single staircase and which is not safe also, then we are going to have a people, I mean, they're going to die. There is no way out. Either they have to jump or they have to find their own maybe ropes for coming down.
That is what is happening in India, sir. Everybody jumps to save their life, including IT professionals in Bangalore. 9 people died out of the window and try to save their life.
Such situation should not occur.
Sir, another question is asking, can you make fire drill mandatory for all the occupants of the building, especially resident? Mandatory.
What they will do by doing the drill? If they don't have a staircase, safe staircase, a hose reel or firefighting system, then drill is going, how it is going to help? Tell me. I don't think so. Drill is going to help even 1%.
So you mean to say fire drill is not?
See, the only thing which is required is 1 minute.
We'll take it in an optimistic way.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you're trying to say based on our practical experience, maybe yours or mine and many others.
No, one more thing. See, just
What I'm
on
trying
this
to-
subject.
Wait. I'm trying to say what, let us assume that the building is made as per the perfect norms.
Yes.
And if there is a compulsion to conduct and maintain the log of conducting the fire drill at least twice in a year, see, today in a recommendatory form, it is all well prescribed in the National Building Code that the evacuation drill be conducted, how it should be conducted, guidelines are given, all those things are given. Now mandating it by law.
But problem is this.
Mandating it by law will definitely help, provided what Mr. RC is trying to say, that if the building is not made of faulty structure, then the evacuation drill will have an impact. But if the structure itself is faulty or there are deficiencies, then the evacuation drill will have its limitations.
Now, one more
So that
thing.
is- yeah.
See, the important thing which we want to know is knowing our problems. I mean, awareness amongst all. And what is there in the building? What is the problem? What can be the problem in case there is a fire? No, that is something very important. Forget about firefighting systems. I mean, we should prevent the fire. Awareness means we should know what is the risk we are living in. Is there any special risk? At least we should know about it. And then what is the means of escape available to us? And any firefighting facilities, just like we do have at least hose reel. I mean, have we ever seen that? I mean, forget about extinguisher, other thing, at least hose reel, if it is available and functional. I mean, that is what. So what I want to convey is here is awareness is the most important factor. We cannot depend on the rule, what is provided, what we conduct. But yes, do we know what is available there? Can we use it? Is it going to be useful?
Okay. Sir, I will take the last question from Umesh, who's giving a lovely advice to Fire Safe India, a suggestion to Fire Safe India. The last question. Umesh Magar is saying, is it possible for Fire Safe India to give guidelines to checklist for daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually? So what are those checklists for all kind of building that as a citizen must follow? A wonderful suggestion, sir.
It's a pertinent question, and yes, we can do that. The simple answer to that, yes, we can do that. We can work in association. We can provide, not only will provide, we will even periodically help to improvise it also. Thank you. It's a very good question in the larger interest of the society.
Thank you, sir. I'll take again Umesh's another question for a general public. He said, though the developer provides sprinkler and the smoke detector in a building, as a owner of an apartment, while doing the interior, this fire sprinkler and it are removed and hidden in the false ceiling, and even the manual call points are covered. While doing the audit, we don't know, whether that exists or because it is hidden. So how do we avoid this?
This is a very genuine
legal
question.
action. Is there also, he's asking, is there any legal action can be taken against them?
Yes, legal action can be taken if these issues are highlighted by someone to us, or during the inspection by the license agency, or a general inspection is requested and the inspection is carried out by the regulator. On behalf of the flat owner's interest, if even Fire Safe India is also asked to conduct such audit, we, sir, do it free of cost. We are not a commercial body. So we can conduct a sample audit of 1 or 2 buildings and give you the independent report, and that can be, we also can represent to the regulator that yes, they should insist on action. Because, generally in the society or the system that we live in, who to be the bad boy? Who will go, who will make complaint, who will take the call, who will bail the cat? These are the problems, very common problems. So we don't want to spoil the neighborhood. We are there, at least highlight to us, give us a chance to only the access to carry out such kind of inspection or audit as a third party. And whatever findings we get, if it is a matter of rectification or retrofitting, we will bring it to the notice of the concern, the society can bring it to the concerned people. Or if it is a matter of the camouflaging the sprinklers, removing the sprinklers out of the psyche or the fear that the myth that they carry that it may burst by mistake and my furniture will get damaged, those kind of fears are there. We can even do awareness. And also, if somebody is doing deliberately, it is a very, very serious, it is a non-bailable offense under section 36. Anything who plays or who damages or causes injury to the system, it is a non-bailable offense and can be punished. It is clearly written. It is a black and white print of the legislation. So very pertinent question and a very larger interest of the society.
Very, very interesting. So before I move to Anura, the beautiful looking lady, been waiting to say, conclude this program with vote of thanks. Before I do that, I move to Advocate Niranjan Badang. Sir, you said life is precious, safety should be culture. So now you've waited, you've spent almost 2 hours listening to various discussion and suggestions and all that. A final comment from you, sir.
Yes. Now, if I had to say something more on it, obviously what we need to look into is that the laws can come, laws may not come. But merely because there are no laws, is it so that we can shirk our responsibility? The laws are, of course, to see that when you are not following something, then some restrictions are required. Penalties, according to me, is not an answer for such causes. It's very, very essential that we and we alone must look into it and find not just solution, but to see that the problem itself doesn't arise.
Wonderful, sir. You're saying we value the life, we respect the life of others, then whether there's a law or no law, so life safety is something you must practice on. It's a way of life, I would say. The safety is a way of life. So over to Anura for vote of thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Dominic. It brings me immense pleasure to know that with each session, the foundation grows. And the best part of this growth is that as the foundation grows, the society also benefits. Opening remarks of Mr. Milind Kumar Deshmukh did set the stage for an informative panel discussion. He spoke about fire safety. It's not just one person's responsibility and accountability. It's a joint effort of the occupants, enforcement agency, and the firefighters. His remarks stem from the extensive experiential learning that he believes in and practices. I'm thankful for his contribution, not just in terms of knowledge sharing, but also in the terms of time and efforts. Today's session focuses on being a fire-safe citizen. It simply means that in the event of fire, a responsible citizen knows how to deal with that fire and keeping the family safe. Perfect example of this was given by Mr. Niranjan Badang sir. He stated that he shared an incident where a fire took place in a flat below his residence due to gas leakage. He shared an incident enough to evacuate his family, the neighbors, and even try to douse the fire with water. Mr. Badang and fellow flatmates didn't wait for the firefighters to come and then start the prevention methods. Though the firefighting team had come in less than 10 minutes, but every minute counts when there's a roaring fire. I'm thankful to Mr. Badang sir for his incisive insights. Hope the message doesn't die at this forum. All the attendees are our fire safety ambassadors, and we sincerely believe that during your interactions with the members of our society, you will help us spread the message of fire safety. Maybe fire safety as a topic may not be as glamorous as cricket or politics. Nevertheless, it deserves a mention because it is of paramount importance. I thank Mr. R.C. Sharma sir, Mr. Namah Shivaya Muthu, and Mr. Kiran Hatyal for their valuable insights for our topic today. The discussion did endeavor to answer questions from the panelists, from the audience, and to even cover most of the points of the topic. I am extremely thankful to Mr. Vilas Vandone, Mr. Gurmeet Singh, Mr. Pratik Pete, Mr. Abu Amin Khan, Mr. Prakash Kamath, and Ms. Vidya Gogi, for asking relevant and practical questions to the panelists today. And I hope that through these questions, doubts or queries of other people are also answered. Lastly, I want to thank Mr. Dominic and his team for their support and efforts for coordinating this event. The journey of being just a citizen, from just being a citizen to a fire-safe citizen will take a while. And it will happen only when there's a cultural change, awareness and responsibility towards fire safety. I'm grateful to the audience for taking out time on this Sunday morning and choosing to join us in spite of the temptations of rest and leisure. Lastly, I sincerely hope that the viewers feel very empowered from today's session. It is not that the existing occupants of high-rise buildings are without recourse. With informed alacrity and mutual cooperation, they can certainly augment the safety in the surroundings. I thank you all for gracing us with your presence. Stay safe and have a good weekend ahead.